Welcome to another video in the series Learning from the Newspaper. In this video, we will look at some of the turnaround strategies adopted by one of the leading organizations, L&T Finance. This article is an interview of the new CEO of L&T Finance, Dinanath Dubhashi, and was published in the Economic Times dated 31st August 2017. So this article is with the headline, "If market grows at 10%, L&T Finance will grow at 20%. Now let us understand some of the background of this organization. So L&T Finance is primarily an NBFC. NBFC stands for non-banking finance company, and it is primarily in the business of lending money for housing and infra, and also is in the business of mutual fund and wealth management. So let us look at some of the highlights of this interview. So the first question is, L&T Finance was one of the worst performing NBFCs till last year. How did the turnaround happen? So the answer from the CEO is, there were 3 to 4 things that we focused on. First, the cost from very heavy structure. So first element in the turnaround strategy was focus on cost, which was taking away our nimbleness. Now, nimbleness is very important in an organization because it helps quick adaptation to the changing global economy and the global environment. Without this, an organization can perish very quickly. As an NBFC, we had to be nimble and fast. Second, we had too many businesses. Now, typically, when an organization grows, it keeps on adding a lot of businesses to its portfolio. There were businesses that had no hope of scaling up, and we were losing money. So a lot of these business lines that this company was in had no hope of scaling up. That means they could not grow further, and actually they were making the company lose money. So they were loss-making businesses. We were in construction equipment, cars, where others could do better than us. We were in businesses like tractor and infra, where we did well. My plan was to get the right business. So right business with the right structure and reduce complexity. So this is the second turnaround strategy, wherein the company focused on reducing the unprofitable businesses and focusing on the right businesses with the right structure and reducing complexities. So with these strategies, the CEO says that I stuck my neck out to say that we will achieve top quartile ROE by 2020. So ROE is one of the metrics, which means return on equity. And this is one of the metrics that the company set out, saying that we will achieve top quartile ROE by 2020. So that's the goal which they are targeting. We are an L&T company and we were supposed to be the best. I will say forget the best, we were one of the worst NBFCs in the country. On every metric, whether ROE, shareholder return, profitability, we were in the bottom quartile of NBFCs. So these are some of the metrics which are used to compare the performance of the NBFCs, and what he's saying is that L&T Finance was at the bottom in terms of these metrics. So we started implementing this strategy from April 2016. So strategy was made, reduce the unprofitable businesses, reduce the cost, and the strategy was implemented in April 2016. Since then, 4 things have contributed to P&L, which are growth in focused business, completely stopping defocused businesses, high fee income, and very strict cost control. We focused on strengthening the balance sheet, putting in place a strong risk management, and hence we have been able to grow fearlessly. So putting in place a strong risk management strategy is also very, very important. So this, I would say, is the third strategy. And we'll look at this in more detail in the later questions also. So now let us look at the next question. How did you control cost? So of course, in the first answer, the CEO mentioned that we reduced the cost. So now we have to get into the details of how did the costs get controlled. So the CEO says from 33% cost to income ratio. So what this means is that if the income is $100, the cost was $33. We have moved to 23%. So now if the income is $100, the cost is $23. So from 33 to 23. So clear 10 percentage points reduction in the cost. We right-sized people at the head office and increased people at branches, thus improving productivity. So basically they had a lot of people at the head office. Now generally head office manages the operational aspects, the metrics, and so on. And the branches manage the front-ending customer sales roles. So they reduced the operational cost by moving the people from the head office to the branches so that they get more sales and more customer interaction. In many places, we had branches just 100 meters apart. So within the same organization, there were two branches which were just 100 meters apart. So they were basically competing within the organization. So they merged 40 to 50 branches without reducing the locations. So these were some of the cost cutting measures taken up by the organization. So let's move to the next question. You have grown your disbursements by 30 to 40%. Is that sustainable? So with the strategies in place, the organization is now growing its disbursements by 30 to 40%. But is the same growth sustainable? That means, can the organization continue the same growth? So let's see what the CEO has to say. Till FY 2015-16, FY stands for financial year, we were not good at so many things and hence we had slow growth. In FY 17, we concentrated on 5 products. We have said we'll outperform the market. So if the market is growing at 10%, we'll grow at 20%. We'll do better than competition. So these are some of the benchmarks they have set up for their organization. In the past year, we spent a lot of time in strengthening our balance sheet by making a lot of provisions, putting systems and processes in place, and investing in digital and analytics. It helps us take better decisions quicker. So basically what he's saying is that they have put the growth strategies in place. They have put the cost cutting measures in place. Now they have to make sure that these strategies are sustainable. So they have invested in systems and processes like digital and analytics, which will help them make decisions faster and better. So it has given us confidence that we can grow without accidents happening. I'm calling it growing fearlessly. Today, after having worked on these projects for 4 quarters, I am confident we'll grow at a healthy pace. Now let us look at the next question. What checks and balances have you put in place to ensure accidents don't happen? So kind of in line with the above question, but basically they are saying that yeah, you have put a strategy in place for growth and for cost cutting, but there could be some accidents. How are you going to prevent that from happening? So consider the business as a car that you are driving. So you are planning to go on a long drive on the freeway or a highway where you have to drive the car at a speed of 80 miles an hour. Now, before you jump onto that kind of speed, or in business terms, that kind of growth, you have to make sure that all your operational parameters are intact and are being monitored. So in case of a car, you will make sure that the fuel tank is full, the air pressure in the tires is the right pressure, the oil is at the right levels, and so on. Similarly, a business has to make sure that the key parameters are intact when they go on a high growth ride. So let's see what the CEO has to say. As a CEO, I have to be very careful. I can't do anything that is temporary. I went to a risk consultant. We are in lending business, so we have to take some risk. We have put a risk dashboard at every level. We have put an early warning signal in every product. So what they have done is they are tightly monitoring and controlling their processes and the operations. And they have put a risk dashboard so that they get early warning in case they are going to meet with an accident. So similarly, in a car, you have the dashboard where you see whether the fuel is at the right level or not, so that before it finishes, you can refuel it. You have an indicator for the air pressure. If it becomes low, you can get it fixed, and so on. So even a business has to have a dashboard where they can proactively monitor and make sure that the business is on the right track. So these were some of the points that the CEO gives in this article regarding the turnaround strategies. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Please post your comments and also post your experiences and your thoughts around other turnaround strategies.